Well, I'm learning this new camera and I think it's pretty cool. I have to say the picture quality on it is absolutely insane. Holy cow. And boy, do I like this. Oh yeah. Look at there how that thing zooms in. So I got to play around with it. I got to get better with it, obviously, to make it do all the things I want it to do. Whoa. But it's pretty cool. I like it. Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. I want to welcome you out here to my test plot. Today I want to give you my thoughts on different varieties of fescue. Okay, we're going to leave the bluegrass out of this right now. Strictly about turf type tall fescue. And what I've done back here over the course of the years, and what I'm going to do back here today is kind of tell you a little bit more about the test plot, the history of it, why it even exists, what I've done in here to the test plot to help me further my education on turf type tall fescue, and how that kind of plays along with the varieties that I may or may not, choose to put in a bag of grass seed. I feel like a lot of folks get kind of wrapped up in that and really get, kind of nerdy behind all the science and little intricate details behind this variety and that variety and this one. And y'all know me, I keep my lawn care as simple as I can keep it. And I want to kind of help you see that a little bit through a video, okay? And because when I tell you about this test plot, some of you are probably going to be a little bit shocked. Hey, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because we got turf type tall fescue here. I got fescue bluegrass mix in my home yard, which is, well, I mean, it's all my home yard, but I'd have to name it because I got different sections. That's my yard right back here behind us around the house, and it's separated by this row of cryptomeria and maple, and this is a test plot, and I guess you can call that test plot too. Now, 10 or 12 years ago, when I kind of got involved heavily into fertilization and weed control in my company, and we started growing that part of the business, and I get asked this question all the time. What does GCI stand for? The name of our company used to be Grass Catcher Incorporated, and our company used to focus on mowing. We were a maintenance company. That's all we did. But when I started to get involved in fertilization, weed control, grass seed, that kind of thing, we wanted to kind of go after a different customer. We didn't necessarily want to go after the maintenance customers anymore, even though we still do. So I kind of recreated the entire company, even went as far as renaming it to GCI, Grass Catcher Incorporated Turf, and we put turf on the end of it. And GCI Turf just sounds more like, hey, that's a grass company, So hope that answers the question. I've been asked that I don't know how many times, so that just come to mind. I figured I'd answer it while I thought about it. It's 12, 13, I can't remember the exact number of years ago, but it's been a while. And I kind of got dialed into fertilization weed control, made the company name change shortly after that, and I wanted to further my education. I've always been self-taught, so I wanted to continue to teach myself, because I'll read this and read that, and yeah, this study says that, and this says, all that's great. It's incredible information, don't get me wrong, but the best learning tool I've ever used is me testing and teaching myself, so that I can, because the point I'm getting at is, who cares what the test from the major university says? If I can come out here and do it a certain way in the yard and get a certain result, and I can visually see that with my eyes, and it has a level of sustainability with it, like this, then that's good enough for me. I don't need all the major university testing and studying. You can't do that and you can't do this and all that kind of jazz. I believe self-teaching with seeing physical results is the best way. So before we moved into this house, I had my little starter home. Some of you have seen that video where I kind of made a little revisit back to it. And I had these small test plots of individual turf type tall fescue varieties. And I was intrigued beyond anything you can imagine at watching the different varieties respond to fertilizer, biostimulants, weather, water in different ways. I thought that was absolutely incredible. I probably should have said this a little earlier, but a variety of fescue is basically a different strand or different DNA, something along those lines. It's you can look at it like this. It's kind of like people, okay? All of this is turf type tall fescue. We're all humans, right? But we're all different and unique, and we have different skin color and we have different characteristics. Some of us like to eat more than others, right? Some of us require less water than others. Some of us, can tolerate being outside in the hot heat better than others. Some of us can, like you guys up north where you get these crazy and insane cold days. I would go nuts on that because I can't tolerate that kind of cold weather. Of course I could if I had to. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I hope you kind of get the point of what I'm trying to say here. Different varieties handle heat different. Their color, it may be a little different. Some can have less water, more water. Some respond to food or fertilizer a little bit differently than others. So you can kind of relate the varieties of turf to humans, to people, because we're kind of alike if you really look at it. Now, one thing I want to be really clear on how humans are different from grass is we are very unique. We are created in the image of God Almighty. Now I want you to pause the video and I want you to think about that just for a second. Okay, stop the video and think about it. You are loved by God that much. He thinks that much about you that He created you in His likeness. He created you in His own image, okay? Think about that. We're talking about the creator of the cosmos, the sustainer of all things, thought about you and loved you enough to create you like Him in His image. That's pretty heavy, if you ask me. Think about that for a little bit. So at my starter home, of course, where I started teaching myself how to do things, and I didn't have a whole lot of space, and we had kids and started a family and blah blah blah, all that, and fortunate to be able to get the home that we're in now. That's a total God thing and a total different video. And our entire lot here is 0.97 of an acre, okay, almost a full acre, 43,000 square feet. Goes from the road up there over to the row of cryptum area that you see on the side that runs long ways with the house, and then goes back here to my neighbor's arborvitae. Is that arborvitae or are they Leland cypress? They one of the two. Arborvitae, Leland cypress, is one of the two of them. But it stops back there. So what you see right here was still basically a bunch of crap, okay? That part was completed, and I was gonna use this for my test plot. And I was testing different varieties of tall fescue and how they reacted to this, that, and so on. About 8 years roughly ago, I smoked all this off and I planted fescue varieties in strips, okay? They're 1,500 to 2,000 square foot strips roughly, I can't remember, but they go long ways like this. So if we measure off 1,500 square foot and make them long ways, like this would be one, and then you come over here just a little ways, and this is another one, and so on and so on and so on. I'm gonna put a picture up on the screen and to give you a visual of how these test plot areas are broken up so that you can see for yourself. Amazon Prime, baby. Hey, whoa, whoa. Stop, stop. Come on now. Crap, I didn't get a package today. Now, Pete, I still ain't following you. What does this have to do with the price of eggs in China? When you look at this turf, when you see the flyovers, okay, when you see the mowing videos and things like that, and you're watching this big 10,000 square foot area of grass right here, do you see anything different? Does anything out here stand out to you? Can you say, oh, Pete, this spot right here looks night and day different than the rest of the yard. It's incredible. What is so different about that one spot? No, you can't, can you? And that's kind of what I'm wanting to get across to you. Yes, the varieties of turf that goes in a bag of grass seed is important, okay? You just don't want to throw any old crap in there. But the latest and greatest turf varieties versus some of the turf varieties that may be a little bit older, it's not a dramatic and drastic difference in them. And I know some of you will argue me until you're blue in the face on that, and that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. By all means, have it. But it goes back to my eyes and seeing and looking at the turf, and in comparing that to some of these newest and latest and greatest varieties that I've seen at the NC State turf trials. I've seen them in the NTEP trials. They don't look that different, if any different. So when I smoked this off, what was it, 8 years or so ago, I ordered 4 bags. One of the blends come from Howard's Fertilizer Company. I cannot remember the actual name of the blend, but when I did my homework on the varieties inside the bag, it was a very strong blend at that time. To my knowledge, now I got this wrote down, but it's buried deep in the attic. I mean, too deep for me to go get it. I don't want to get bit, so I'm kind of doing this off memory. But to the best of my knowledge, this strip right here is that Howard's blend. Whatever was in the varieties, I can't remember exactly, but this is what this is. This next 15 to 2,000 square foot strip right here is Winning Colors, okay? That's a pretty popular grass seed blend. I know it's real popular around our area. Several of the local landscape, lawn care supply stores, companies sell that blend here. And so that's what this is. I think this has the Da Vinci line of seeds in it, I believe, maybe, if I remember right. But this is the Winning Colors blend. This next strip right here is the original GCI Turf type tall fescue. Remember it had Escalade. Oh Lord, I'm gonna get chewed out now. I can't even remember what my own varieties were. Escalade and Falcon 3 and oh snap, I can't remember. It'll come to me in a minute. But whatever it was, that's what this strip right here is. Now when we come out here, moving down a little bit, and we're on the next 1,500, 2,000 square foot strip right here, this is a Barenbrug seed. And if I can remember right, I think it was called Water Saver, if I remember correctly. But that's what this one is. Supposedly a real, high drought tolerant and all that kind of thing. Hence the marketing on the bag, they call it Water Saver. And when we get down here to the very last one, I call this the number 5. I always numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll be completely honest with you, I ain't got a clue. I have thought about that and tried to remember what went here, but I honestly, I can't remember. So The point is, it's different. It's different from the other 4, but I mean, it looks exactly the same. After racking my brain for several hours, I finally remembered Section 5 is Jonathan Green Black Beauty. So now that I got this sweet camera, I can give you some real close-up detailed views of things. And so I'm gonna throw up on the screen right now sections 1 through 5 and label them on the screen so you'll be able to see up really, really close. And what you need to be looking for is color. What you need to be looking for is the blade thickness. What you need to be looking for is density. You know, how thick it is. And obviously that has a lot to do with the way you maintain it. And of course you can't see drought tolerance in it, but you can go back and watch all the videos and you know that I've been watering this whole entire area 1 day a week. I think that should probably fall into the drought tolerant category. And I want to make this real clear, it has a lot to do with the way you mow it and you feed it, okay? It's not magic, you throw it out here and it's a done deal. Lots of humic acid. This particular place has had boatloads of humic over the past 8 to 9 years, however long it's been. It has been mowed correctly pretty much since day 1, and it gets a little water from time to time when it needs it or as it requires it. So as you look at these different varieties up close, there's really no difference. That's the point of this entire video. All of these were 3-way blends, so that means I have 3 times 5 equals 15. There's 15 different varieties of tall fescue out here in the test plot. And you have to take into consideration the 8 or 9 years I've aerated and overseeded and introduced, you know, 3 more varieties. For the first 5 or 6 years of that, roughly, it was strictly the GCI Turf blend, the original one, the one we got in the middle out here. The Escalade, the Falcon 3, and the, I still cannot remember what that one was. Escalade, Falcon 3, and what? Dang it, I can't remember. So that's 15 original varieties. And then you got 3 more, so that's 18 varieties. And then when we had to change the formula up on the new GCI Turf type tall fescue, that's 21 varieties. Let me make sure I'm right. 15, 18, 21. So that means it's 21 different varieties out here. And last year, I introduced the 22nd variety. And that's the one that I have over there in the corner all by itself. And that's going to be in the new Spreader Elite mix. And of course, I'm going to do a video on that all by itself and show it to you. I want you to grasp this concept. iPhone always comes out with the latest and greatest. You know, new phone does this, does that, blah, blah, blah. The older iPhone still works pretty dang good, in my opinion. I have one of the older ones, so it still does the job, right? 22 different varieties right here. They all look the same. They all perform the same. I don't have any abnormally dark green colors here and there. They all feel the same when I touch it. I guess they all taste the same. I'm not gonna eat it, but I assume that they taste the same. And they've all gotten the same amount of water this year and for the past 8 years. They've all been mowed the same. And they all look the same, and it all looks good. So hopefully this has come off as more educational and to help you understand and help you see, yes, in the turf grass world, they're trying to improve things all the time. That's with anything in life. Everything's trying to improve. Goes back to the iPhone, right? But at the end of the day, I don't see how it can be that much of an improvement. Try not to get wrapped up in all the nerdy, technical things behind each individual variety. You know, at the end of the day, there's 22 of them out here. Some of them are probably 15 years old, at least 15, if not 20-year-old varieties. I'd even say some of them may even be older than that. And look at it. it all looks the same. It all stripes the same. It all mows the same. It all accepts fertilizer the same. It all just looks the same to me. I wanted to show you all these different varieties, give you a little bit of history on the test plot, you know, how it come to be, why I used it. You know, it's basically for my study and to further my education on how different things work with all these different varieties. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, all of it looks the same to me. There's really no difference that stands out. You know, when we get really hot and dry, does one perform considerably better than the others? And the answer is no, they don't. So hey, I hope this video has been informative to you. Hope maybe you picked up something on this, and maybe some of you didn't realize that this was 5 different blends of grass seed planted systematically in perfect little 1,500, 2,000 square foot strips, because you've been watching the videos and you're like, well, it just looks like a cool yard to me. But it literally has been a test plot for me to help me to learn and become more educated. And I really hate to see it go, just to be honest with you. You know, I want to further my education on Kentucky bluegrass, and obviously I want a baseball field style yard back here, and I'm gonna hate to see it go. I'm gonna hate to renovate it, but I wanted to take a chance and make this video and kind of give you, you know, my 2 cents on varieties and the history and all that kind of thing before we smoke it off next week. So as always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. I'll check you later.